All right. We're here with a special guest. Welcome to another episode of Connect and Politic. We're here with a special guest. Please introduce yourself by telling us your name, where you're currently located, and your favorite snack.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name is Dayo. I'm a Nigerian and I'm currently located in Nigeria. My favorite snack, that should be candy. Very bad, but it's candy.
What type of candy?
Oh my God.
Nice. Do you remember your favorite food as a child?
Oh, dodo. Dodo is plantain that is fried, either in palm oil or groundnut oil.
Yeah.
I prefer it fried in palm oil. Unhealthy, but I loved it. I still love it, but I try to stay away from it.
Yeah.
For health reasons.
What's your favorite meal as an adult?
As an adult, I don't have a favorite meal. I'm not a food person. I always say that I wish there was a pill that you could just pop into your mouth and just give you all the nutrients that you have. I'm not a food person, but I eat because I have to.
Wow.
So
yeah,
what
always.
Do I like?
No. Go on.
I don't have a favorite meal.
Yeah.
I just like candy.
I'm always intrigued by people who because I love food with I see. Nice. I'm intrigued. You just have a collection. So is it candy or is it sugar? Which one is it?
I don't like the word sugar, but everybody knows candy has sugar, right?
Yeah.
So am I deceiving myself? Yeah, it's sugar. I like sugar.
All right. What's your fondest memory from childhood?
Oh, being a student. I was that kind of a child that knew all the answers to all the questions. And I asked questions. I was a curious child. I asked questions a lot. And I was that child that even I could read the teacher's mind. So before the teacher asked the question, I know what she's going to ask, and my hand is up. And everybody is still thinking, oh, and I have the answer. Oh God, I was that kind of a child.
Nice. And this continue, throughout elementary, just
up till now, I'm very competitive. I'm that child that will get 90%, and I'm crying, and I'm wondering why I didn't get all.
Yeah.
So I think that competitive spirit is still in me. So if I set my mind to do something, I want to excel. It's either I'm not doing it at all, or I'm giving it my all. I don't know how to stay in between. And I think that's not so good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, it's there's pros and cons, right? So
yeah.
What do you miss anything about being a child?
Oh yes, of course I do. And I'm still a child, by the way, because I have people telling me all the time, grow up. And I'm saying, no, growing up is a trap. I'm not going to grow up. I'm a child. So I'm still a child. So there's really nothing that I did as a child that I still cannot do. The only thing that I did as a child, the only thing that happened to me as a child, which can no longer happen, is my parents spanking me. They can't do that anymore. I remember not too long ago, about 2 years ago, I went to visit my father and I got there quite late. I was already 50. I got there late. And then my dad is 85. My dad goes, and young lady, where do you think you're coming from at this time of the night? And I'm like, I didn't say it out, but I just said it to myself. Come on, I'm 50. The days you could do that, I didn't say it to his face, but I said the days you could do that it's gone.
So you see, even now, you said you didn't say it, right? You thought about it. You said it in your head, but you didn't verbalize it.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, so young lady, where do you think that it was quite late, right?
Yeah.
I agree it was quite late. And then he goes, it took me down memory lane. Those days you'll go out and then you're back late and then you're placed on curfew. And then he says, young lady, where do you think you're coming from? And I'm like, excuse me?
That's funny. How do you think your childhood helped groom you into who you become as an adult?
I think I just mentioned one of the things that is still a very driving force: competitiveness. That has made me who I am today. And then my mom was very strict. I'm the first child and the only girl in a family with four children. And the gap between myself and my immediate younger brother is 5 years. And you know the way girls grow faster than boys.
Yeah.
So I was kind of the small madam. I was in charge of those 3 younger brothers. And I was used to dishing out instructions. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And I grew up with that. Even when I got married, it was a part of me, just dishing out instructions. I had to unlearn that. And in the workplace, I had to unlearn that as well and try to get people to do things without using that authoritative voice.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that has stayed with me from my childhood. That's something that has made me who I am today. And my mom would never let you get away without giving your very best. So I'm so used to giving my very best, and I'm so used to not settling for anything less than the best. So people call me perfectionist. I had a difficult time when I had all these housekeepers doing house chores for me when I was working, because you say you've cleaned the house. I come in, the first thing I do this. Oh, come on, you clean this place? I got that from my mom, and I don't know how it has stuck with me. And I was having a conversation with my son 2 days ago, and he's repeating the same thing. He said, "Oh, mom, I can't stand anything out of place in my room. He doesn't live with me anymore." And I said, "Vincent, I'd like to see your room." So he took me around. I said, "Oh, this is incredibly neat for a single." I said, "Oh, mom, I can't even stand anything out of place."
Yep. That's how it is. It transfers generation by generation. So you talked about some important lessons you learned from your mom. What do you have any important lessons you learned from your dad?
Oh, yes, I do. And my dad, I still am my dad's favorite child. So I could get away with anything with my dad. And my mom was one day I said to my mom, I said to my dad, I said, "I'd like to know who my real mom is. I don't think this woman is my mom. Please tell me where you found me. Tell me where you picked me up. Tell me who my mom is." That's how. But with the benefit of hindsight now, I'm so grateful. My mom is late now, but I'm so grateful for all that she taught me. And I go to my dad and I say to Daddy, "But why did you let me get away with all these things? You could have ruined my life.
Yeah.
You could have ruined my life. But the good thing that I learned from my dad is how to manage finances. From a very early age, my dad taught me the difference between liability and assets.
Wow.
And my son knows that too. My dad said, if you can differentiate between a liability and what is an asset, then you wouldn't have financial troubles. So when we all started working as young people, I got a car from home when I graduated, and I used that car for a very long time. And my friends, my colleagues were buying luxurious cars and all of that. I was still using the car that I brought from home. And then they'll say, oh, you can afford it, change your car. I said, no, a car is a liability. Anything that takes money to maintain is a liability. And up to today, I don't spend money except it's going to bring in more money. Except that thing that I invest my money in is going to bring in more money. Then I know, yeah, that's an asset. That's something I can spend my money on.
Yeah.
So that has stuck with me. I knew that from a very early age. And my dad had, they bought me lots of shares. I didn't even know how much or what, but he handed me a file when I was getting married. And in that file, where in those days you had copies of dividend share certificates in those days, and dividend warrant stubs. So he had invested in that for me, and the dividend warrants he was getting, he was reinvesting. So by the time he handed over that file to me, oh my God, I was a rich woman, and I continued the tradition. And then he said, okay, all this money, all this dividend warrant, all this thing, blah, blah, is in this account, blah, Union Bank, Union Bank. So that was good. Legacy. Yeah. I love that. And I continued that with my son as well. So, which I'm going to hand over to him. Oh, I won't say. Because if I come across this.
Yes. Yes. No, that's good. That's good. So at what age did your dad start with the personal finance training? At what age? That you were
I think I was still in primary school. Because then, in Nigeria, visitors come when visitors come, when they're going, they say, oh, use this to buy sweets, use this to buy chocolate and all of that. And then my dad will sit me down and say, so are you really going to buy candy? And then if I say yes, and then I say, so what satisfaction is that candy going to give you? Then I say, oh, yes. Oh, just going to make it for how long? I said, a couple of minutes. And then it's gone, right? I said, yeah. And I said, okay, how about putting it together so it grows and grows. So as from elementary school, I knew. And then I had an aunt who was an illiterate, who lived in the village. So she bought me a goat. And then she would come once in a while and bring money to me and say, oh, your goat had more goats, and I sold the goats, and here's the money from the goats. And I said, oh, why can't you have more money? And then, don't worry, okay, the next goat I will not sell. And then, so from a very early age, I knew how to grow money. I knew the different ways to grow money. Yeah. And I loved seeing my money grow.
No, that's good. We might have to do a part 2 with you about just wealth creation and wealth management. Actually, I've interviewed a few folks in Nigeria who are a lot younger and are starting to kind of push this with the younger generation of Nigerians because there's from what they've said and I've witnessed myself, there's more of a consumer high consumption liability mentality, and so I think this it would be good to kind of have that conversation where you can bring your ideas and approach to the table, and they can learn from it as well. So look forward to that in the future.
And Nigeria is a place. No, okay, I wouldn't say Nigeria, but I'm Yoruba, and Yoruba has this culture of Ashwebi. Ashwebi means you're having a celebration, and then everybody, you say buy this for this person, and next week somebody else is having a celebration, and then you buy. I've never done any of that. I don't do it, and I'm known for that. And then I said to them, and I don't wear, not that I have anything against it, but I'm just not comfortable with tying wrapper or any of those. So I say, okay, so this person is getting married. You want me to buy Ashwebi? After the wedding, what happens to the Ashwebi? Next tomorrow, somebody else, I buy another one. Sorry, hand me out. And initially, I looked very kind of antisocial, or someone who doesn't. I said, well, if you're having an event and you immediately tell me that you come in your Ashwebi, I'm not going to come, because I'm not going to buy Ashwebi. But if you allow me to come in what I have, then I will come. So I just see it as a wasteful kind of tradition, kind of culture.
Yeah.
I like it when they wear it. I like it when I see them wear it.
Yeah.
But I'm never part of it.
What are your favorite things to do for self-care?
For what?
Self-care.
Oh, for self-care. I like my me time. And my me time I get when I go running. I get my me time. And of course, after my running, I like to soak my feet. I do home spa. And then when I have big races coming, or after a big race, I go for massage. I mean, that's when I take myself. That's how I take care of myself.
Yeah. How did you? Have you always been a runner?
No, never. I didn't start running until 2012, when I went for my annual. It wasn't even immediately after I'd gone for my annual health check in 2012. And at that time, the doctor had told me that I was obese and that I had high bad cholesterol levels, and that I had to change my sedentary lifestyle, and I had to avoid certain kinds of food. So when I got that report, I didn't know what to make of it. Although you had told me clearly that all I needed to do was change your lifestyle and avoid this kind of food. But it wasn't easy. So I didn't do anything. So I just shoved the report somewhere, and I didn't change anything. Then early 2013, there was something in my workplace called the Global Corporate Challenge. So they wanted these employees, they wanted us to start recording our daily steps. And they had said the minimum daily step for a healthy person is 10,000 steps in a day. So they said before the challenge started, they gave us speedometers and said, record your steps. And I was recording 1,000, 1,500, 1,200, because I live in a society where you sit down and you have all these domestics around you. At home, at work, you have a driver, so you're not doing anything. So you sit down, the refrigerator is close to you, but you have Mary, and they say, Mary, please get me a glass of water. And then Mary comes from upstairs, runs downstairs to get you that glass of water that is 2 steps away from you. That's the kind of society that I live in. So and then when the competition started, they said, okay, start recording your step count. And then people globally, everybody could see. And I was on the lowest rung of the ladder. And people from Germany, people from New Zealand, people from Canada were recording 15,000 steps, 20,000 steps in a day. And I was recording 1,500. Oh no, not me.
Yeah.
So, and then we had this community forum. So I went in there and I said, and I'm not afraid to ask questions. I like to ask questions.
Yeah.
So I went in there and I said, you guys are recording this amount of step counts. Are these step counts daily step counts, or are they weekly step counts, or are they yearly step counts? What's happening here? And then they came to me and said, oh yeah, they're daily step counts. I said, how do you do that? I said, oh, I commute to work. I cycle, I run, I do this, I walk to the mall, and in my country, where I live, you don't walk around. You have a driver, you a car, you know? So oh no, I only use my car when I'm going shopping. I said, really? Okay, game is on. So that's how I unconsciously change my life, like do up my step counts, but this point in the car lot, so I can walk to the office before my driver would drop me right in front of the gate and go park. So now I say, no, don't worry, just go to the car park. Look for the place that is furthest from the gate. So I will have to walk to the office, to the car. And then I stopped using the elevator. And I was seated on the 14th floor.
Wow.
So I started climbing up and climbing down. All I needed to do was to get there earlier. And the conference room was on the 20th floor. I was sitting on the 14th floor. So if we have a meeting, I will have to get up from my desk earlier than every other person because I'm going to climb. Up to now, I don't use the elevator. So all of those little things added up.
Yeah.
But I still wasn't getting 10,000. The furthest I got was, I got home one day and I was 9,000 and something. And I said, this is so close to 10,000. So I decided to walk up and down the street and got 10,000. So since then, I go on the streets, up and down, walking up and down. And then from walking, I started jogging. From jogging, I started running, especially on weekends. Mm-hmm. Then there was this day that I met someone who was also running. And then she said to me, oh, I've noticed you in this neighborhood. Do you live around here? And I said, yes, I live around here. So we started doing it together, running together. Mm-hmm. And then she was a more experienced runner. So I learned a lot from her. And then one day she brought up the idea of running a marathon. And I said, what's a marathon? Because this was 2013. I didn't know what a marathon was. Mm. I knew the word, but I didn't know there was a sport called marathon. So she said, oh, we can train and run a half marathon in Ghana. And I said, okay. I wasn't convinced. So she said, okay, when you get home, go on YouTube, watch New York Marathon or London Marathon or something. And when I watched it, I said, oh. And then I had somewhere that only 1% of the world population capable of running a marathon. That was it. I have to be part of that 1%. I have to be. So I went back to my friend Dayo and I said, oh yes, we are doing that thing you talked about, half marathon. So we went to Ghana, we ran that marathon. I loved it. I mean, I felt like I was on stage, and the people lined up on the streets where the spectators were watching. Yeah. And we had it was my very first experience, and we had the beep number, and my name was on that beep. And they say, go, Dayo, go. It was, oh God, it was a beautiful experience. So immediately after that half marathon, I went online. Once I got to my hotel, I went online, searched for another one. There was no half marathon near Nigeria that was coming up soon, but I found one in Dubai. This was in September of 2013, but I found one coming up in Dubai in January of 2014. But there was a 10K and there was a full marathon. So I said, I traveled to Ghana to run 21K. I can't travel to Dubai. I run a 10K. No, I'm going to go for this full. So before I could even discuss with anybody, I registered for that marathon.
Uh-huh.
I bought my plane ticket and I booked my room. And then when Tayo got back to the room, I said, Tayo, there's this marathon in Dubai. I've already registered. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You can't run just a half marathon and jump to a full marathon. So I said, a half marathon is, a full marathon should be 2 times of a half.
Right.
I said, no, it's more than that because you're drained. Yeah. I said, well, I'm already registered. So she said, okay, she's going to register for the 10K. So a couple of us registered for that 10K. A couple of them registered for that 10K. I was the only one that registered for the full marathon. And they all kept laughing at me when we got to Dubai. And I said, can I ask you girls a question? So if I go and run this marathon and I don't finish, I don't get to the finish line, what are they going to do to me? Are they going to kill me? They said, no, they can't kill you. Are they going to send me to jail? They said, no, they won't send you to jail. I said, so I'm going for it. And if I can't finish it, then I go back to the hotel room. And then I finished that marathon.
Wow.
5 hours, 14 minutes. I loved it so much that I looked for the next one, which came up in March in Tanzania. So I did that. And unfortunately, in Tanzania, I met a group of people who had come from different parts of the world. And they were, bragging rights. They were saying, oh, this is my 60th marathon. This is my 1000th marathon. This is my blah, blah marathon. And this was my 2nd marathon. Yeah. And I was looking at them and I said, really? So how can they run 1000 marathons and I'm satisfied with 2 marathons? No way. I've got this bandwagon. That's how I got into my running marathons. Yeah. And today, I've run 78 marathons in 60 countries. Nice. And each time I set a goal for myself, there's a higher goal. So the very first goal I set for myself was that, okay, I'm going to run on all the 7, because I had someone saying, oh, are you a member of the 7 Continents Club? And I said, what 7 Continents Club? They said, oh, it's an exclusive running club for people who have run a marathon in each continent. Yeah. And then I said, there are only 6 continents. They said, oh, how about Antarctica? I said, but nobody lives there. I said, yeah, it's a continent. We have 7 continents. I said, okay, I've got to do this. So I ran. I qualified to become a member of the 7 Continents Club. Wow. So, and then after that, in the process of doing that, I met another group of people who said, oh, there's marathon. Are you a member of Marathon Globetrotters? And I said, what's that again? And they said, oh, this club belongs, you can only belong to this club if you have run a marathon in a minimum of 10 countries. And I said, okay, I've run 7. Okay, 3 more. Okay, I'll do that. Yeah. So I did that and I qualified. And then in the process, I met another man who said, oh, have you heard of a Marathon Country Club? And I said, what's that? And then they said, oh, you have to run a minimum of 30, run a marathon in a minimum of 30 countries. I said, okay, let's go for that. So, so I did that and I qualified. So my current goal is to run a marathon in every country. I'm on 60 now, and COVID has put a halt for now, a temporary halt, but that's my goal. And it got to a point that I didn't have, time was my limitation, because each time you have to go on leave or ask for permission to be away from work and all of that. And at some point I said, you know what? I need my time for myself. Once I clock 50, I'm going to stop work. I'm going to take an early retirement so I can live my life, do what I like to do. It's not all about making money. I want to live and experience. I don't want to exist. I just want to live, follow my passion, and do what I like to do. So in 2017, I took an early retirement, and now I just travel the world and run marathons and meet awesome people and break records, and that's what I do now.
So with that said, if you were to write a book, What would it be about? Would it be about your experience as a runner? What would it be about?
If I were to write a book now, it would be life, living the life. And that's, for me, says it all.
Yeah.
Because when you're living the life, and it won't be the same for two people, because we have different gifts, different things and different activities will tickle us in different ways. So find your purpose, find what tickles you, find what makes you happy, and just live the life. I should write that down, living the life.
That's gonna be. I'm gonna write that down. That's gonna be the title of this interview. Live the life. Live the life. Yep. I mean, it sounds like you've done a lot. Is there anything on your bucket list to learn or do?
So I've been spending, in the past 3 years, I've spent more time out of my home than in my home. So I've never really been able to sit down and put my thoughts together. But people complain about COVID-19. I have no complaints at all, because COVID-19 has made me sit in one place and put my thoughts together and learn new skills. And I'm actually writing a book, in the process of writing a book now. And I'm also in the process of learning so many new skills. So I'm learning photography for one. And I'm getting to learn more about the social media. Right. So those are two things that I actually enrolled in online courses, and I'm learning these things. And I believe these two things will help me in sharing my experiences with a larger community.
Yeah. Can you think of any advice that you would give your younger self?
My younger self, I would have told my younger self to live my life and not to live my mother's life or my father's life or the society's life. When I was growing up in high school, I was an all-rounder. I mean, I could swing in either direction. I was very good in the arts, the sciences, and all of that. And one mistake that I almost made as well was, we have this mentality that a brilliant child should move towards the sciences. So I ended up choosing physics, chemistry, all those subjects, and I ended up studying engineering, and I practiced engineering. But what I loved was geography. Oh, I loved geography. I loved learning about the formations of the world. I loved all those things. And I would have loved to be a teacher. And I remember the first time I mentioned it to my mom, that I'd like to be a teacher. She looked at me and said, "A teacher? Can you be a teacher? You can't be a teacher. You're more than that. You have to do something, you know?" So, and then I remember she said, "Teaching will not, something to do with bills. Teaching will not, something to do with bills, that teaching cannot, you can't pay your bills from teaching." She said it in a particular way, I can't remember. So I jettisoned teaching, but I love teaching. And if I were to tell my younger self, I would say, stand your ground. Do not let the society dictate to you, because we are all different. Where did all these societal norms come from in the first place? Some set of people must have sat down and put it together for a particular reason. And that reason must be archaic by now. So, Dayo, you should go for geography. You should go and be a tour guide. show your country to people. That's what I would have loved to do.
Yeah.
But it's never too late. I'm doing that in my own small way now, because now I put together Ile-Ife Heritage Marathon, and I bring all my running friends from all parts of the world, and they come, they run my marathon, and after the marathon, I take them to the tourist places in Nigeria, and then they go back. And then even before they go back, they say, oh, but this is not what we heard about Nigeria. And I say, yes, you can sit in your homes and listen to something on the TV and form your opinion. If you want to know about a place, get up, go there, experience it, meet the real people, and form your opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that the narrative of Nigeria, being whatever the media calls it, is being changed by people who have come here to experience us. Every place has the good, the bad, and the ugly. And if nobody is going to tell the good side of Nigeria, then people are going to form their own opinion. So what I am about now is showing the good side of my country. Yeah. Bringing people here to sit with me.
No, that's great. And what's the name of the marathon?
Ile-Ife Heritage Marathon.
Is there a website?
Yes.
What's the website?
Fogadventures.com.
All right.
Fog as in FOG adventures.com. That's the name of my website, and that's where you have stories, my blogs, Nigerian stories about this marathon. And this marathon is not in the city; it's in the countryside. We start from the vice chancellor of Obafemi Awolowo University actually kicks off the marathon. Uh-huh. And then we run on the campus. And then guess where we end it?
Where?
At the Palace of the Oni of Ife. And His Royal Highness welcomes the people. And then the white people say, oh, I don't like to use that word. And then the foreigners say, oh, I've never been in the presence of a king of royalty before. Okay, so they are always so excited, and the king himself welcomes them, gives them the medals, and there's so much dancing, so much drumming, so much culture being displayed, and everybody goes, "Oh, this is a different marathon."
Yeah. Do you record this? You know,
yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. We do record it. It's on our website. We've had 3 editions so far. Yeah. I started this when I retired in 2017.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good stuff. We need more. We need more of that. Definitely. What has been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
No, what?
Say that again.
Your question is what has been the toughest thing, and what helped me.
And what helped you? Yeah, what's been the toughest thing you've had to tackle, and what helped you get through it?
Okay. That's a difficult question because I'm a tough. So what people consider as nothing, most people see as tough. So to say what is tough. Okay, I think it has to be in 2001. I was that was when I was pregnant with my son. I went into coma and all of that, and I ended up with a broken leg. I walked crutches and because I was walking on crutches, I had to depend on people. It was tough for me because I'm very independent. There's no way I could carry my baby while I'm on crutches, right?
Yeah.
So even if I my baby is crying and I get up and manage to get to where he is, I can carry him. So I'll have to depend on my nanny. I'll have to sit down, depend on my nanny to bring my baby to me. Oh God, am I? You want water? You want anything? You have people. That was a tough. I couldn't. It was a tough period, but that was when I learned to be able to receive help from people.
Yeah.
Because I like to give help, but I didn't know how to receive help. Up till now, I'm still struggling with being the receiver of anything, either whatever. I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
So,
what character traits do you admire in other people?
I like people who have their goals and they pursue the goals, irrespective of all the naysayers. They just go for what they believe in, irrespective of all the people that say, no, this is not possible. I remember when I started running, and people who knew me and called me a cripple back in the days when I was walking on crutches. And even after walking on crutches, I limped for a very long time. I don't even remember when I stopped limping. And then they'll keep on going, oh, this girl wants to kill herself. She's running on those legs, broken leg. But in my my left leg, I have a plate and 6 pins holding my foot to my leg. Mm-hmm. So I'd even forgotten about that. And then they'll say, oh, she's running. And then they'll go and tell my dad, oh, she's running all around. She's running all around Lagos on that leg. She wants to kill herself. But I said, oh, that leg, I don't even remember that I have a problem with the leg. So if I'd listened to them, I wouldn't have followed my passion. Yeah. But I didn't listen to them. I did what I needed to do. And now, and by the way, yesterday, I got my certificate from Guinness World Record as a participant in the marathon with the highest altitude in the world.
Wow.
If I hadn't started running, I won't be in the Guinness Book of Records. Yeah. So people should just follow their passion and do what they like to do. Because if there's passion, even if you meet obstacles, your passion will be enough to keep you going. But if you do something you're not passionate about, you'll always give up because the passion is not there. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, if you're doing anything for money, it's easy to, if you meet obstacles, it's easy for you to just make a U-turn and say, okay, not this one.
Yeah. Speaking of money, time for a fun question. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what will you do?
If I won a lottery, what will I do? Oh my goodness. I will, first and foremost, Ile-Ife Heritage Marathon. We just have to come near London Marathon or Boston Marathon or any of these world major marathons. Oh my God. And then we'll sponsor so many people to just come run this marathon. Yeah. That's one. Then another thing that I will do is the people, because right now we support some secondary school children in Ife. So there's so many things I wish I could do for them if I had money, but funds are the limitations. So these children, bright children, they don't have the opportunity of or the exposure that other children have. So from get-go, they are at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
So I would love, bring them up there, let everybody have a fair playing ground. Because it's these young people that are going to, that we're going to have a Nigeria to. And if they're not educated, you don't give them the proper exposure, they're limited in what, and of course, I'll travel more.
Nice, nice. Is there anyone that you would like to thank or express your appreciation for that you haven't had the chance to yet?
Yes. I would like to thank somebody we call Mrs. B. Her name is Catherine Bickerstead. I call her my destiny helper because things that I did not even know were inside of me. She has a fun way of helping me to bring it out. She's the one who will tell me, Dayo, because I'm a very private person. And I said, no, I just did it for myself. I said, no, share it on our platform. It will, when I do things, I just keep quiet about it. Because I do things for me, not to show. It took me a long time to become a social media person because I thought, why am I sharing this? Why am I sharing these things with people? It's why am I? It's me. I've done it. I want to do it. And telling me, she kept on encouraging. I don't need one. I didn't have one. I don't need it. Do you have a Facebook page? No. What for? So, but now I have all those. At least I have Insta page. I have a Facebook page, and I try to share. And really, it's amazing how many people from different parts of the world who come back and say, "Oh, I did this because you shared what you did." Recently, during COVID, this COVID thing, I ran 8 marathons on my balcony every week for 8 weeks.
Wow.
And so Mrs. B will say to me, okay, your next marathon is next Sunday. Okay, talk about it on Insta or Facebook so that people can call in and watch you and encourage you. And do you know people from different countries I've never even been to? They started setting up, asking interviews, people calling in, people. So she says, when you do these things, remember, it's not for you alone.
Yeah.
It's so that other people can also be encouraged. So I'd like to thank Mrs. Bickerstead. She's a Nigerian. She's my mentor. I'd like to thank her for showing me the way and pointing me direction. To thank also the KBC, the King of Ife, who brought into my idea of the marathon and embraced it and supports the event financially and what's that word? Okay, there's a word I'm looking for. I can't find that word. Moral support.
Yeah.
He gives us the moral support and he welcomes the people. So so he had a kind of excitement to the event. So I'd like to thank him for listening to this. And of course, I'd like to thank my partner, Gary Ryman, who is my muse. We bring all the ideas to all the people around.
Yeah. It's good. That's good. All right, for our final question, how do you define success?
So it's been to achieve. You set to achieve and impact other people positively. That is success. That is success. So success is about test. Definition of success. 1-year-old child. Success is being able to move from one, is being able to work.
Yeah.
For an old man in his 90s or 100, is successful when he's able to move unaided from point A to point B. Because at different phases of your life, the definition and measurement of success changes. At a point in my life, being successful was being at the top of my career. Now, getting up, dressing up the corporate way, carrying all those bags, it's nothing to me anymore. It means nothing. For my son now, if we say he's successful when he writes and him, that's a success. For me, that's nothing. I'm past that stage. So wherever you find yourself, success is being able to achieve your set goals. And if you don't have any goals, how do you measure you being successful? If you have no goals, how do you know when you become successful? So first and foremost, I think you need to have goals. When you set your goals, you achieve your goals. That is being successful.
Yeah.
But at the stage where I am now, I consider myself successful when I'm able to put a smile on somebody's face and impact the life of somebody in a positive way. Then I consider myself, oh, I feel so good doing that. And I count that as successful.
Yes.
Of course, different people measure success different ways. Some people, it's the number of cars they have, or the number of houses they have, or the number of children that they have, or so measured in different ways. And maybe for you, by the time you have 265, give yourself a pat on the back. Oh, that was a success. That was a successful project.
Yes. Well, yeah, it's been great. We connected, we politic, and we'll definitely do this again. There were some glitches because of course, the wavelength, between here and Nigeria.
Oh, and it could be because it's raining heavily here now, so
yeah,
it could also be because of that.
Yeah, but definitely, I enjoy this, and I want to thank you. And yeah, I want to thank you. Thanks.
I want to also thank you very much. Thank you so much, and keep this up. Yeah, thank you.